Childhood, the beginning of life. A time for play, a time for enjoyment, a time for laughter, a time for the little ones to make full use of the boundless energy and curiosity that nature has endowed him with. A time to be nurtured, cherished, and loved. According to psychologists the world over, the first 6 years of a child's life are the most critical years for a child because the development in these years is at its most rapid pace. 50% of an adult's intelligence is already determined by the time the child is just 4 years old. And this intelligence, like other aspects of development, is largely influenced by the kind of environment the child gets in these critical years. It is generally believed by psychologists and educationists that for the 3 to 5-year-olds, preschool nursery education can play a crucial role in providing environment appropriate for development and can even compensate for some of the deprivations the child may experience at home. Most 3 to 5-year-olds, at least in urban settings, are going to a preschool. But are they really getting the kind of environment, the kind of stimulation that they need? What should be the priorities in a preschool program?
The aim of early childhood education is really the total development of the child. This is so for all stages of education, but increasingly so or more relevant for the young child. When we design activities for early childhood education, then we have to keep in view the developmental characteristics of young children. So before we go into what should be early childhood education activities, let's see what the young child is like. The young child is active but has limited muscular coordination. He is inquisitive, he is curious, but at the same time does not have enough of control over himself. He is interested more in himself than in other people. Or in other words, the social skills are limited. So these are some of the things that we have to keep in mind when we start thinking of the kind of activities that we have to have in a nursery school. Now for gross muscle development, there should be activities like running, jumping, hopping, skipping, things like that. Now when you think of finer muscle development, then you think in terms of activities like cutting, pasting, painting, thread work or threading the beads. Lots of activities where there is a coordination between the eye and the hand. These are the activities which will subsequently help the child when he or she gets into the primary school and starts to learn to read and write. Because after all, reading and writing are all activities which require these kinds of fine skills. Skills of finger muscles, skills of eye-hand coordination, and so on. There are many aspects of the cognition which have to be taken into account. For example, the varieties of what you call the thinking skills, problem solving, reasoning, sequential thinking, a whole lot of thinking activities. Now we have to think of the kinds of programs which we will have so that these thinking skills can be fostered in children. Now, if you take the aspect of, say, language development, which is again a very important component of a nursery school program, then we think of the different types of language skills. For example, oral expression, which becomes extremely important, getting the child to talk as much as possible. Talk fluently, talk clearly, talk meaningfully. This becomes very important.
जब मैं मुंह हाथ धो रहा था तब मेरी मम्मी ने बोला तू दांत साफ कर, फिर मैंने फिर कहना मान के दांत साफ कर लिया था.
Very good. ताली बजाएंगे सारे बच्चे, ताली बजाएंगे.
Listening comprehension, listening skills. The child has to be able to listen to what other people are saying. That's why we have activities like storytelling.
देखो, एक आदमी था, ठीक है? एक आदमी था और वो घूमने के लिए निकला. पुनीत आराम से बैठिए. घूमने के लिए निकला, घूमने जा रहा है. इतने में उसको एक जगह बहुत सारी हवा दिखाई दी. क्या दिखाई दी? हवा. हवा चली भाई, हवा चली, हवा चली भाई, हवा चली. सर 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 हवा चली, सर 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 हवा चली.
Now, if you take the other aspect, like say socio-emotional development of children, then the young child, when she or he comes into school, is really at a stage when she is revolving sort of around herself. Now, she or he, oneself, becomes the most important thing. From that point of egocentricity, that is centering around oneself, slowly the aim is to take the child, to make the child be more and more sociocentric, to be aware of what is happening around, to be aware of the privileges and the rights of others, not just one's own rights and privileges, but also the other person's rights and privileges, to be able to share, to be able to cooperate. These are very important skills which have to be developed or inculcated in the young child. So it's important that all these aspects have to be kept in view when we design the programs.
But is every preschool program really designed in this way? No. As we look around today, we find that an average 3 to 4-year-old child is just not the happy-go-lucky toddler that he should be, but is a soul burdened with academics and competition, and a victim of miseducation that is going on in the name of preschool education.
And do you have any brothers, sisters?
His ordeal starts even before he gets admission into a school. The intensive preparation for the notorious admission test, for which the child must know everything: his telephone number, address, and even the name of India's Prime Minister, when the poor little one has no idea what the word Prime Minister means.
Which school do you study?
Then comes the ordeal of facing the stiff interview board.
Acha, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Often, the little one is asked all those questions for which he was not taught the answers. And imagine his frustration at not being asked the questions to which he was taught the answers. With admission comes the heavy load of school books, and then the homework.
My son is 4 years old and he goes to the local nursery school here. He's just started going a couple of months back, and I feel that the pressure on him is too much. He's just started going to school, but he not only does a lot of work in school, but he's always loaded with a lot of homework as well.
We got our 4-year-old child admitted to a very good school in Delhi. He does not come back with any homework, and we are happy that he has a lot of free time in the evening where he can get involved in other activities. However, my wife and I worry sometimes whether our child will be in a position to cope up in the future with the load of the studies, since all the other children in the nursery itself are learning to read and write.
So far as the pressures on children are concerned, these young children, the National Policy on Education, which was formulated in 1986, very clearly said that there should be no teaching of the 3 R's, that is reading, writing and arithmetic, at the pre-primary stage. That is the stage before the children get into class 1. But what is really happening, the situation today is quite different. We at NCERT conducted a survey about a couple of years back of some prestigious schools of Delhi to find out what they were doing in their pre-primary sections. And we were really alarmed to find that in 100% of the schools, the situation was quite different. That is, the children were being taught reading, writing and arithmetic. As I will share the data with you that we have with us of the survey, it was interesting to see that 89.4% of the 4-year-olds were expected to do even dictation, and 68% were expected to read and write sentences, leave alone alphabet and words. And 100% of them were expected to know number counting and backward and forward, and 55% were expected to do addition and subtraction, all of which requires some kind of conceptual clarity and some readiness, which they obviously do not have. 5% of the children were even expected to do multiplication and division. This is at the stage when they are just 4 to 5 year olds. So you can imagine the kind of pressure that there is there on the children. And when we talked to the principals of the schools, why they were putting so much pressure on the children and why they were introducing the formal reading and writing at this stage, so we were told, the answer that we got from them was generally that it was because of the pressures from the parents.
It's right that during our training program we are taught to use the playway method and playway method and use different activities with the children for their various aspects of development. But in actual situations in school, it is totally different. For one reason, I should say, we have to abide by the directions from our school, principal, and even from administration. And even the parents of the children, even they pressurize us a lot. They ask, why don't you give the homework? And they insist on formal teaching, counting, maths. So we have to satisfy the parents and we have to compromise with the situation.
I would like to stress that both parents and the school administrations should realize that by introducing these early academics at this early age, they are not doing the children any good. On the contrary, they are likely to do them a lot of harm. Because, as we see, the children at this stage are not really ready for these experiences. If you take it from their intellectual aspect, that the children, since they do not have the basic conceptual readiness and they are expected to do all this work like addition, subtraction, multiplication, all this requires some thinking and reasoning, but since they do not have the conceptual readiness, they fall back on their rote memorization. And as a result, it's not that they're not able to do the sums that are given to them, but they do it purely on the basis of rote memory. And the only skill, the only intellectual skill that we are really promoting at this stage is the skill of rote memorization. And what happens later, as say at the class 3 stage on after, when the children have to really apply their reasoning and thinking powers on their academic work, they are not able to do it successfully, since they don't have the requisite experience and the skills. And that is one of the reasons why you find so much more need for tuitions and adult coding in studies these days in the children.
This burden of early academics is taking its toll on the child's health also. Some of the young ones are suffering from various ailments.
As pediatricians, we got interested into the problem of early schooling because we found that the schooling of children has something to do with their physical health, with their mental health and their emotional health. We found certain problems of physical health, like there were increased incidence of aches and pains in the body, pains in the hand, increasing incidence of respiratory tract infections, gastrointestinal infections, fevers, pain abdomen and other related health problems. They were peculiar only to a particular age group of 2 to 5 years, for which there was no obvious clinical cause. There was something peculiar about these symptoms, and to go into the depth of these problems, we carried out a survey of about 250 parents whose children were attending a neighborhood preschool. We had a preset questionnaire wherein we got all the information relevant to the health of the child. And to our surprise, we found about 20 to 30% of children had increased respiratory tract infections. Almost every 15 to 20 days they were falling sick because of throat infection. We discovered that these children were attending a school where there were 50 to 60 children in a small room, say like 15 by 20. Per capita space was so small, and it led to a lot of cross infection. If one child had infection, he used to transmit to another, and that was a cycle which was going on in certain children. Then we found children came with a peculiar complaint of pain in the hands, for which there was no real cause which could be made known on clinical examination. Then detailed study, we found about 15% children who were 3 years, 2.5 years, who were being pressurized with lot of homework had pain in the hand, because the hand muscles were not so fully developed so as to handle the burden of homework. Similar was the case with pain in the shoulder. Both the shoulders were under tremendous pressure because of the heavy school bag, and in one of the instances we found the weight of the child was about 17 kilogram, 4-year-old child, and the weight of the bag was 10 kilogram. Now you can imagine how much burden it was causing on both the shoulders. And similar pressure was transmitted to the spine, which caused a lot of backache, and to the legs. So we were able to reach a conclusion that these children, because of the physical pressure per se over the bones, had pains. Apart from physical health problems, we noticed certain behavioral changes in children who were attending these preschools. Children as young as 2 years were pushed into preschools, and their mothers, they were so dependent on their mothers that they could not handle separation anxiety. They could not become independent of the mother at the age of 2.5 years. And a tendency was noticed in about 15 to 20% of children that they started clinging more to their parents. This clinging tendency indicates an emotional insecurity in the child, wherein he wants to remain close to the parents and doesn't want to leave the secure home environment. Then other behavioral problems like bed wetting. Children who were otherwise dry at night started wetting their bed after they started attending a preschool. These were younger group of children, about 3 years, 2.5 years. Night terrors, which means they used to get up in the middle of the night and start crying. Some children had a fear as if they had lost their mother. These indicate again an insecurity in the child, and it's one of the behavioral problems for which early schooling is responsible. Children did have other problems like irritable behavior, loss of weight, loss of interest in the surroundings, loss of appetite, failure to gain weight. They were restless and they were mentally disturbed. Children were constipated. About 82% children that we studied went to the toilet after coming back from the school. Schools in our cities start very early, say as early as 7 o'clock. Children have to get up at 6:30, 6 o'clock, and their mother wakes them up with a bottle feeding. And average time that we calculated which a child gets to get ready for the school was 33 minutes, which is hardly a time, and there is no time certainly to go to the toilet. So this unhygienic or this unhealthy habit was again due to early schooling. Apart from this, children are being sent to school which are far away from their house. 10 kilometers, 8 kilometers. In city we find, as you already know, there is a lot of pollution, and pollution leads to certain respiratory problems. Asthma or bronchitis, whatever we call it, is already on the increase even in other children, normal adults also. But these children, when they travel through crowded roads, polluted roads, they are more likely to get bronchitis and allied asthmatic problems. So that is another area where we should take care.
The situation appears to be gloomy and threatening for the young child in preschool today. Surely there must be a way out. Cannot and are not the schools thinking more seriously about this educational hazard and doing something about it?
Well, one good thing that is happening today is that there's a much greater consciousness about the harm that we're doing to our young children in the name of preschool education. And for this, we have to thank the Academy of Indian Pediatricians and the preschool unit of the NCERT, because they've been holding a number of conferences. And many of us in education were invited, and we were really appalled to listen to the doctors telling us about the physical and emotional traumas which the young children have been experiencing on account of going to school too early and being subjected to too much of formal education before they're ready for it. And last February, in February 90, the National Progressive Schools Conference, we held a conference on the burden child. And one of the most important sessions in that conference was on the education of the preschool child. And a lot of good recommendations came out of that conference. Firstly, I think everybody agreed that no child should go to school before 3.5 years of age. Secondly, there should be no formal education at all at preschool level. Another very important recommendation was that there should be no admission tests. Now, many of the traumas and tensions arise out of admission tests, and we should also act as a neighborhood school. That is, we should recruit children from our local vicinity. This would enable many more interactions between school and home. Parents could come, meet the teachers, and there could be exchange of views on the child's progress and the education being given to school. Another one was that we should make our education at this stage very joyous. There should be dancing and music and playway activities, building, and the children should not be subjected to learning their ABC and the 3 R's, which they can very well do at a later stage when they are ready for it. It should be entirely activity and playway-oriented form of education, and the children will grow and develop and become very happy individuals. This is what we feel is the real essence of preschool education. And I'm happy to say that more and more schools now are going into this pattern. And I think it will snowball further. We're very hopeful. And certainly all the schools attached to the National Progressive Schools Conference have given their word that there will be no formal education at this level. There will be no bags, no books, no tests. And so I think our young children should look forward in the future to a much more happy, joyous form of education than they have been experiencing in the past.
Let us all pledge today to give our little children back their most precious possession, that is, their childhood.